she wakes up early, she's on the go, chasing dreams, she runs the show. Suit and heels, she's ready to fight. In the boardroom, she's dynamite. Power moves, she's got the flair. Breaks the mold, she's everywhere. Glass ceiling shatter with her stride. In her world, she owns the right. She's a business queen, ruling the scene, turning dreams into reality. With a smile so keen, she's the one they've seen, changing worlds in her own philosophy.
Hello, everybody. This is Becky Mossbrucker with the Stronger Together Tribe podcast. And today we're talking to Toni. Toni, pronounce your last name for me.
Low.
Okay, I was going to say Lau, and I'm like, I don't know which
I
one
get that
it is.
a lot.
So, Toni's going to talk about her business with us today and how she got started with her business and what makes her business special for our listeners. So, Toni, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us the name of your company.
Okay. Again, my name is Toni Laugh. I'm a certified personal trainer and a postpartum corrective exercise specialist. The name of my company is Mom Home Fitness, and I work with postpartum moms of any age, whether they're recently postpartum or near and dear to my heart, or those that are much further along postpartum that have always just thought, oh, I just have to live with it. And I've been in business for about 6 years.
So, where are you located?
In Hillsboro, Oregon.
Oh, in Oregon. Okay. I've forgotten where you had told me. I do have some friends. Gosh, one friend of mine, her baby is 3 months old. And I have 3 other friends who are all pregnant. Like,
Busy
it
time.
has just exploded here recently. I'm like, oh my goodness, this one's pregnant, that one's pregnant, that's pregnant. So
That's
I will be sure to share your information with them because, I mean, right now I don't notice any postpartum thing, but today was one of my friends' first day back to work after her birth of her son. And she's like, cried all day, cried all morning. I mean, like, 30 years ago, I did the same thing.
Right.
So it does not matter how old you are.
Yeah.
If you ever had to go back to work after having a child, you know exactly how that feels.
Yep. Agreed. Or like that can also be like the first day of kindergarten, even the first day of school.
Oh, yes.
Oh, heart-wrenching.
Yes, it is. That child, you don't want that child leaving your side.
Mm.
It's funny because, we always talk about kids get to that age, and this is totally off topic already. I'm not even on your topic. Kids, when they get to a certain age, they're like, don't want to kiss their mom goodbye. They don't want to, have her hug you or, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when my grandson comes to visit, he's almost 8. And when he comes to visit, he just walks in and he's like, hi, Grandma. And he just goes and sits down and I'm like, wait just a minute. Get back over here. I don't care if you think you're too old for this. Get over here and give me a hug.
Yep. Good for you.
It's starting at a much younger age than I had anticipated.
Yeah. Oh, they don't even know how they break our hearts, do they?
No, I know. My granddaughter, she's just a big cuddle bug. So she's still,
nice.
She's almost 6, but she's still all about the hugs and kisses. So she's great. But
nice.
Yeah, he's grown up already. He doesn't need grandma anymore. Like, you need grandma when you want some food and you want some candy. So just remember that. So, tell me a little bit about how you got started. And then I have some questions about the mom fitness. And is that separated from the postpartum business, or is it all under one umbrella? How do you separate that all out?
Yeah, it is all under one umbrella because again, it's no matter, and I have had women come to me that are not postpartum, but have experienced, the number one client that comes to see me is somebody that has some kind of incontinence issue. And so if they've heard from a friend, I get a lot of referrals. And so sometimes I've had people that come to me and say, hey, I've never had kids, but I have this issue. Please help. Or I worked at a big box gym and they had a fitness class there. And somebody had heard about me through that because in the fitness class, again, she hadn't had children yet, but in the fitness class, she was experiencing the issues, right? And so she came to me. So you don't have to, but my certification is a postpartum corrective exercise specialist. And so that's, I put it in there. And for the most part, most people that come and see me are the postpartum moms.
Okay. I like the mom, was it Mom Home Fitness?
Mom home fitness, yeah, because I generally go to their home
Oh,
because
okay.
it's so convenient. When I worked in the gyms, oftentimes moms had to cancel because their kids were sick. They were fine. They wanted to work out, but their kids were sick, so they couldn't bring them to the daycare at the gym, understandably, right? And so when I launched my own business, I do mobile and I do online. And again, the online is so you can do it in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to have somebody else come because sometimes you just always want to clean up a little bit before somebody comes into your house, and you don't always want to do that one or two times a week just for training. Um, and so, yeah, that's why it's mom home fitness is because it's in your home.
I think that's an awesome idea because you're right. If the little ones are sick and you can't leave,
Yeah,
what are you supposed to do if you still want to work out or, do some
right.
exercises? And so
Yeah.
that sounds like a perfect idea. So what made you quit working at the big box gym and decide to open your own business?
It was really just that was a major deciding factor was honestly a lot of the cancellations that I had. I was like, surely I can make this easier. Um, and just then obviously having, my own flexibility with my schedule a little bit more. Um, and yeah, honestly, that was it. Like I have clients that are online that are 5 and 7 miles away, not far, like I
Oh,
could
wow.
easily drive there. But it just what works for them, and actually both of them are from that gym. um,
Oh, that's funny.
but yeah, that was a major motivating factor is because there was just so many, especially during cold and flu season, the kid, in September, October, November, you've got a preschooler, they could be sick in September, October, and November, right? I know my preschooler was. So that can really, really put a dent in your progress, when you're really trying to be able to have control of your body, some semblance of it, and feel stronger. You don't want to wait 2, 3 months. So that was the major motivating factor. Also, they decided that they didn't really want us having our own businesses on the side anymore, which I
Oh, I
understand.
am sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were
So,
many of us that had them at the time, but then they changed their policy, so we all left.
well, you know what? Good. Not good, but good.
Worked out for the best.
You know what? So when I started my business, it was a very similar thing. Um, I couldn't find anybody in my area teaching safety for women by women. I still
Mhm.
haven't. 6 years later, I'm it. And I went to an organization and went to the board members and said, "Hey, what do I have to do to be able to teach here at this club with these people?" And they gave me a list of rules, and I said, "Okay," got them all, got all the rules, got all the insurance, got my business name, did all the paperwork, went back to the next meeting. It's like, I got it all. Now can I be a part of your club? And they were like, "What? No, I don't think anybody, at least not a woman, had ever approached them to do that." And it worked for a few months, 3 or 4 months, and then they started doing very mean things to me to
Oh.
embarrass me in front of the students
Mm.
and
Right.
set me up to fail at every class
Yikes.
I taught. And I was like, done.
That's too bad.
So, but you know what? It's okay because that's how I started my business, because I would have never done that on my own, because I would
Mm-hmm.
never have thought that I could find the clients to keep it
Mm-hmm.
sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
So them being mean to me actually helped me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily thank them for it because it was stressful,
Sure. Right,
but
right. Not very
it
nice.
did help me get my business off the ground. So
Good.
I'm
Good for
kind of
you.
like, whatever, you guys meant something for harm for me and it turned out good. So,
Right.
somebody upstairs was watching out for me. And
Yeah.
it's funny because sometimes when I think, I don't have enough clients, I'm not making a lot of money, and I don't want to throw in the towel, but just, whatever happens, what happens. And then I'll have somebody come up to me at a bazaar or at, a women's show I did this weekend, and and they're like, we watch you on Facebook, and you never know
Oh,
who's watching you,
yeah.
and you never know, what kind of impact you have, So
Yeah.
one of the things that I tell women all the time, regardless if they have a business or not, is if you have a burning desire to teach
Mm,
something or to sell something, just
yeah.
go try it, because
Yeah.
what's the harm?
Hmm.
If you try it for 6 months, a year, whatever, and it's a flop and you can't get any business or you can't get any clients, step back and reevaluate. I wouldn't say give up at
Hmm.
all. It's taken me a while to get people to recognize me. And now when I go to chamber board meetings, they're all like, she's that girl that teaches that stuff. And I'm like, yep.
Nice.
It's funny to
Excellent.
me because you don't think people know you or they don't pay attention to you, and they do.
Yeah.
So, you may not have a long line of people outside your front door waiting to get into your classes,
Hmm.
but I'll have women go, you know what? My sister needs you,
Yeah. There's
or my
people
friend
talking.
needs you.
Hmm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm.
And, trying to explain this kind of business model to somebody who does not understand business, my husband, has been interesting, because when it's all client referral, you're at the mercy of people sharing your information, right? So
Hmm.
we don't have a storefront. I don't rent any property.
Hmm.
I'm like you. I don't need to. I can go to different places and teach what I teach. So I don't need a storefront, and I'm not going to
Hmm.
spend that expense.
Sure.
But when it's all client referral, it can be tough. So
Yeah.
thinking about that, and with your business, how do you what kind of things do you do to try to get more clients when you think you've exhausted your family and your friends?
Hmm. Good question. So especially when I'm starting classes, I mean, I use a lot of social media. Love Canva. I absolutely
I
love it.
do
It's
too.
so user friendly and you can make things that look so nice, right? And so I use social media a lot. And I'm always kind of surprised when I look at the website traffic, how it's always like some is direct, some is search, and some is social media, like kind of evenly. So I'll keep at it. Um, as far as the direct stuff, a lot of that same Canvas stuff you can print out and have it mailed to you, right? And it still looks fantastic. And so because of the work that I do in helping with the function of, pelvic floor muscles, that type of thing, I work really closely with chiropractors, acupuncture, pelvic floor physical therapists. And so whenever I'm like kind of canvassing a new area, that's who I hit up and drop off my flyer and my business card and just literally walk in and introduce myself. Just say, hey, I've got a class starting up here, or I offer pelvic floor muscle training to people, especially I go to the physical therapist because insurance usually covers so much, right? And so that's really what I say to them is when they're done with the insurance, like I'm not trying to steal your client, but when the insurance is no longer covering them and you feel like they still need some more assistance rather than just going to any personal trainer, what'd you think about me? Here's my business card. And it's just that has been the most, like, whatever business that you're in, find whoever it is that would refer to you, just drop off a business card, a flyer. I literally sometimes spend 2 seconds in there. I did this just a couple weeks ago. And from that, I had a lady email me. I had another one reach out to me through my website and one call me. We're like, hey, we got it. We're really interested. One lady was like handing me flyers when I was in there. She's like, hey, you should come to my workshop, And so it's really especially I feel like when you're passionate about something, and you can speak to it, that can be the easiest way. And sure, sometimes people are like, okay, thanks, and just take it. And there's been honestly only about one time over the last 6 years that I'm like, I'm pretty sure that went right in the garbage. And that's fine. I did walk into your space. I get it. But for the most part, everybody's been really, really receptive. So that tends to work well for me.
I have never thought about that. I go to a lot of networking meetings,
Sure.
and
I've done that.
so I don't know, I haven't gotten that many clients from networking meetings, and it really surprises me
Yeah.
because I meet a lot of people and we exchange business cards.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't seem to really go too far for me, and I'm like, maybe they just don't see the value in what I have to offer. I haven't quite figured out what the issue is yet, but do you attend networking events and do you
I did
find
at
customers
first.
that way?
I did in 2018 and 19 both. I was a lot more into the different networking groups around the area. But what I also found was particular networking groups for my niche. And so, like, I'm at Washington County perinatal providers, Portland perinatal providers. So now I use those networking groups,
Oh.
right? And so I just got a little bit more. But something like that, honestly, would be, I think, a good resource for something that you have to offer, because I think that moms want to feel, a little bit more like I have control over this. If something were to happen, I could take care of me and my kid. So, just even finding something a little bit more niche and just, getting a quick post up there might even be
That's a
beneficial.
good idea because I'm in some moms groups, but
Mm-hmm.
they're a lot of early 30-year-old moms with
Mm-hmm.
little kids, and I don't think they understand the danger. And
Mm.
it's hard when you're not supposed to really promote your your business
Oh
or your
yeah.
business or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's like all you can do is talk, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like I can help you with that, or I can. So I actually said that the other day to somebody who was asking a question about something related to what I do, and I just said, I'm here if you ever want to talk about it. And I've got suggestions, some things you can do. Just DM me, and then
Mm-hmm.
zero.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but you can't say but so much.
Right. And see, those types of things, I think at first I would get a little bit more frustrated. Not to say I don't get frustrated with that sometimes, but I try to play a little story in my head about how they checked out my website, they put it in their pocket, and right now they don't have the budget for it, but maybe they're thinking about when they do get the budget, and I'm never going to know it because whenever they do finally reach out, maybe in a few months, oftentimes they don't say, "Oh, hey, I'm the one that messaged you on Facebook." They'll just say, "Hey, I found you on the website," or whatever.
Yep.
Another, and I've heard this several times, however, I honestly haven't done it often, is going to like Redfin or Quora. I've been recommended that by two marketing people to go there. And that's where you are able to talk about what it is you have to offer more. Um, and again, I've gotten on it a couple of times. I've answered a couple of questions. I kind of always forget to go back and see if there was any kind of response. Yeah. So, and you're still competing with, a lot of other noise, but you can, talk about your marketing stuff anytime.
Yeah, I've been on Reddit a few times, and my gosh, there are so many conversations happening at this time. I don't. That's a full-time job right there.
Yeah, I think maybe I feel the same way. I think maybe that's another reason why I've just been like, I don't think that's going to be my forte. But I understand that, again, two specific marketing people have said this is what you need to do, but
Yeah.
I kind of just
Yeah.
don't want
I know,
to.
right? Exactly. I know everybody's like, Becky, go on TikTok and,
Oh yeah.
do some little safety videos. And I had
Yeah.
taken some FBI classes, and the FBI agents were like, do not get on TikTok. Like that is the
Oh,
devil.
oh,
TikTok is the enemy. Do not do it. And so I'm like, ah,
sure.
all the marketing people are
No.
saying go there, and the police are saying don't go there.
Right, right. I guess I'd listen to the
So
police.
yes, I have an account up there, and I posted one thing one time like a year ago, and that's it. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
that's
know
it.
it's all the big rage right now, but
Yeah,
if all you're gonna do is go in there and watch a stupid video of somebody doing something really dumb, that's not me. Because
yeah.
I'm the one that wants to be safe. So I'm not gonna they wouldn't find me anyway, because
Right.
I'm not
True.
doing the dumb stuff. So
Yeah, I get it.
so what else can you tell us about your business? That maybe not so much on the marketing side, but other than coming into people's homes and giving them personal fitness, like what other suggestions, or do you have like videos where you do like tips and tricks on Tuesdays,
Hmm.
or
Mm,
do you have a, I don't know, Fitness Friday, or some
yeah,
kind of social media thing like that maybe?
I should. That would be really good marketing, but I also don't like doing videos. However, I do have an ebook that has an
Oh,
8-week
nice.
video program. It's an at-home video program. Um, and what what I tend to say in all of my podcasts, because I do talk a lot about incontinence, And I like to leave everybody with at least a couple of quick, tips, tricks, advice about what you can do right now today to try to start to have a little bit more control over it. And a lot of it, what I start with everybody is posture and breathing. And so we just work nice and tall on the posture, shoulders are away from the ears, rib cage is down, lined up over your pelvis so that your muscles are all aligned properly. And then from there, can you breathe? And we're doing like a 360-degree breathing through the ribs. I'm going through this super, super fast, but I have a PDF that I will send to you that anybody can have access to wherever you want to put it. If you put it in the show notes or whatever, that is just, it's very quick, very short, again, like a 3-page thing that's just my breathing tips, my posture tips, and then the pelvic floor relaxing tips. Only because a tight pelvic floor and a weak pelvic floor often have the same symptoms. And so we always treat it like it's an overly tight pelvic floor and relax it, because both weak and tight would need to relax. And then we strengthen properly in proper posture with breathing. And then I do all of that through all of the steps of the exercises in all my work.
So I have a question because I've heard this a million times.
Okay.
And then I can't remember if it was my chiropractor. One of my doctors was like, nope, that doesn't work. Kegels.
Mm-hmm.
So in your opinion, do Kegels help you strengthen your pelvic floor?
It depends, because if you have an overly tight pelvic floor and you're engaging the muscles that are already engaged, I use a bicep as an example. If this is already engaged and I'm Kegeling it, I'm not getting anything more out of it. It's not going to stop whatever the issue is. However, if you have a weak pelvic floor, then Kegels will absolutely help. Again, unfortunately, oftentimes the symptoms look the same. It's incontinence or pain somewhere in the pelvic floor region. And so, but again, if we start with our breathing, we start with relaxing the pelvic floor, learning how to connect with the awareness of the pelvic floor muscles, which sometimes does include getting a really big Kegel and then slowly releasing it so you can feel the pelvic floor muscles relax. There's absolutely a time and a space for that. And again, if you have weak pelvic floors, working through the whole Kegel sequence, which I have in the ebook that I was talking about, there's a Kegels portion that talks about how the different, doing it fast, doing the elevators, there's many steps to it, but we match it to our breathing and our posture so that we have access to the muscles properly. So sorry, I couldn't give you a more direct answer on it because it really
that's perfect.
It depends.
That is perfect, because I've heard people say Kegels are the way to go, and I've heard other people say don't do the Kegels, they don't do anything.
The one thing I would say absolutely
perfect.
Absolutely not to do is stop doing a Kegel while you're peeing. Sometimes doctors will say stop the flow of urine, right, and that's a Kegel. But you're teaching the bladder and the pelvic floor muscles to allow urine when you're contracting the muscles, which is the exact opposite of what we want it to do, right? We want the contraction of the pelvic floor muscles to stop the flow of urine. So stop doing that. If you've been told that that's the proper way to do a Kegel, that is absolutely not the proper way to do a Kegel, and please stop it and just work into the relaxing and slowly contracting and relaxing and contracting.
That's a perfect answer. I love it. I have I helped teach a safety class in my local county at the sheriff's office. And some of the women in the class are older. Mm-hmm. And so we always make them do warm-up exercises in the beginning of the class. And so we'll walk around in a circle and we're moving our arms and we're, doing stuff. And then we make them run just a little bit. And you'll see ladies go, their eyes are, we're like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
and one of the more fun things about being a woman is that menopause and perimenopause and the hormones can affect the pelvic floor. So even if you never had pelvic floor issues, once you go through perimenopause and menopause, you can start to have them. You can still learn the same tools though to help address that.
I did not know that hormones could make your pelvic floor weak or tight. Oh my goodness.
I think it's the collagen and the hormones combination. Like it really depends. And I don't like to do fear tactics. It doesn't happen for everybody, but it can happen. It is something that is known to happen. And so if you're like, oh, I'm fine, I've never had pelvic floor issues. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, what's happening? There's still help out there. Know that.
Wow, I did not know that. That's why you're on here, to tell us things like that. There's so much we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so any last minute words of encouragement, any tips, anything you want to share with us? I know you said you're going to give us a link for
Mm-hmm.
a one
Or a
page
PDF.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, it'll be a
perfect.
PDF. It's a 3-page, just really, I think there's maybe 4 to 6 steps on the breathing, posture, and the relaxing the pelvic floor. It's an excerpt directly from the Getting to the Core of Postpartum Fitness, the 8-week program, the eBook program that I have to offer on my website. It's excerpts directly from that. And so I go further into all of those steps in the ebook if anybody is interested. But if I can offer any advice, it's sitting nice and tall, even if you're not worrying about anything else with the alignment, coming nice and tall from the neck, because we try to like pull things back. So come nice and tall, and then breathe. Nice, big, deep breaths. Try to see if you can feel your ribs move, your lower abs, your lower back, your pelvic floor. Those 2 things, even if just for stress relief, and everybody needs stress relief, man, woman, no matter what age you are. Those 2 things can really help to kind of bring down your nervous system into more of a parasympathetic system that rest, restore, relax, regrow. So if I can offer anybody, and use those same tools in your business.
Oh yeah, there you go. I know when I get stressed, I'll try to go for a walk. I
That's
just
great.
put the pen and paper down, shut the computer off,
That's
and
great.
just
Yeah,
go. Get
right.
away from whatever it is that's harassing me.
Great. Good for you. That's
Especially if it's
fantastic.
people.
Right? Get away from them. Well, and
Yep.
also when you're walking, you're going to be breathing heavier, right? So you're automatically getting that deeper breath just by doing some type of physical work.
I know because I'm on the computer a lot at work on my full-time job, and I'm sitting forward a lot. I can
Mm.
find myself, I'll catch myself after a while going, I've
Uh,
been sitting in this position for half an hour or an hour. I have got to move, and then I'll sit back. It's
uh,
like
right?
you don't even realize you're doing it. You're
Yeah,
concentrating so much on that screen in front of you and what the
right.
document is you're working on. By the time I'm done, I'm like way forward going, I am in no shape lined
Closer
up
and
with
closer.
anything. Oh, yes. Yeah, and it's funny because, I saw somebody else's computer at work is like right on the edge of their desk. I mean, like
Oh.
right in front of them. And I'm like, holy cow, can you not see that words? I mean, it's so
Yikes.
close. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
don't need to do that. But yeah, it was kind of interesting.
That's
Okay,
funny.
that's his desk, not mine. So
Right?
I'm not going to do that.
Good
All
for
right.
you.
So tell us the name of your website again, and I will make sure that I post all of your website information, your social media links, your one pager that you're going to give us on the YouTube and on Spotify, so everybody will have it. But remind us
Okay.
the name of your company.
Sure. It's Mom Home Fitness. So it's www.momhomefitness.com.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for
And I've
having me.
learned some things I need to do, like sit up straight.
Mhm. Perfect.
All right. See you ladies soon. Thank you for
All
being
right.
on, Toni.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too.